Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. I just wanted to give a quick explanation, clarification tutorial on how to draw the room with a 1 point perspective. So in this week's assignment, I posted a video from YouTube that is not me because I actually think it's far better than anything that I would be able to do in like an easy, clarified way. I tried making a video showing me making the room in the 1 point perspective, but it just takes too long that I'm not going to post that. I'm going to just show you kind of what I did with the drawing kind of already started. And I left all the different lines visible because I wanted you to see that this is how your drawings are going to look while you're working on them. And then once you get all the different things in the drawing that you want, like the table, the floorboards, the windows and things, then you can start erasing all the directional lines because I posted some student examples that I know look really clean and finished, and they are, but they started looking like this. And so I really want everybody to understand that this is kind of a messy process that gets better as it goes on. So one thing that I did was, well, one thing I really suggest is that you use as big a paper as you have. If you have the 18 by 24 drawing paper that was on the material list, if you were able to get that, I highly suggest you doing this drawing large. I, like many of you, have had a hard time getting the appropriate materials for the class because just getting things in the mail has been really hard for me. So I did it on a little bit larger sketchbook paper that I've been working in. And it was a little tougher for me, I have to admit. So the first thing you're going to do, like the video said, is you're going to find the half, you have to measure your paper. So this is like 14 by about 11 and a half. So I started after the fringe, so it's closer to 11 and a half. And I just kind of guesstimated, which you shouldn't do, the midpoint. So I made my midpoint about 5.5. Okay. It's a little bit more than 11 there. And so that's my vanishing point. And my horizon line is above the halfway mark. So this is 14 inches. My halfway point would be 7. But I actually went a little bit above the halfway mark for the length of my paper. And I did it at about 5.5. I highly suggest that. It makes your room a little bit different. And then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to measure from your midpoint and you're going to start to make your box, which is technically the back wall of your room that you're drawing. Now this is all from imagination, so you've got to decide how big you want that back wall to be. Do you want it to be large, which means you'd have like less space in other areas? Or do you want it to be a little bit smaller, which means you'd have a little bit more floor space? So you need to put these lines at these lines here. I did my 2 sidelines at the same distance from the midpoint, from the vanishing point. So about 2.5 inches on each. Put a little mark, and then you're going to draw the lines, and then you're going to connect the lines here. Now I made mine a little bit larger in the bottom than I did the back. Which you can also do. Oops. And so this is my box back here. So I'm just going to outline that to show you. It's a little bit darker. Okay, so then that's my wall. And as you can see, it's not perfect. Like I struggled with this part. I haven't done this in a while, so. So once you have your box, then you want to start populating your drawing. And so if you can see a little bit closer, I have all these different lines. Okay, so I started to put a table in. So here's my table. Now, the end lines of each object, the table, the door, the window, all of these lines are connecting back to the vanishing point. So I would draw a line here, okay? And then I'm drawing a line here. And they all connect down to the vanishing point here. And the only lines that aren't connecting to the vanishing point are the long vertical lines. But any horizontal lines, like the edge of the table, the window, are all connecting back to the vanishing point, okay? So you can see I made like the window pane by putting one line here, one line here. Now the inside of my window line, that is also going to connect back to the vanishing point. Okay? And if you want, you can shade that in like I did there. Now, once you're done doing all of these different objects in your room, that's when you can go back and you can erase, where did my eraser go? And you can erase the lines. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. So I said on the assignment to draw light. I draw dark naturally. So if you can't draw light and you're just going to have to press down harder to erase, it's totally fine. It makes people's lives easier if you draw light. I've never been able to draw light, and I've never been able to draw small. And I've been drawing for like 20 years. So then you can start to erase all of those lines. So you see, then that just starts to be the window, okay? And then for the door, I did the same thing. So you need to make the bottom line of the door, okay? Okay, and then the inside line of the door, all connecting back to the vanishing point. And then I shaded that in. And then if you want to have the door open, you can put a line here as if it's like going back to a different hall, like to a different room. Okay? Or you can have the door closed and you can put a doorknob there. But if you do the lines down there, then you also have to do the lines up here. And I did 2 lines here. Sometimes, you know, the doors have like the molding that hangs over it. Okay? And you could shade that in if you wanted. If you wanted to put door hinges or anything like that. But that's up to you if you want to make the door open or closed. And if it's open, you would just erase that doorknob. But then you need to make sure these lines are visible. Okay? And then you can erase this line. So you see that this door is very close to the edge of the wall. Okay? And then if you wanted to put in floorboards, like the video shows you, you start up here. Even though the floor starts here, you see the bottom of my box is where the floor starts and this is the wall. Your lines are still coming from, to make them accurate, they're still coming from the vanishing point. And then you will just go back and erase. Now, most floorboards are even. Obviously, I'm not measuring these, but if you want to be really particular about your floorboards, I highly recommend you measure them. But I just wanted to show you quickly, if you can see the floorboards, okay? And then you would just go back and you can erase all of this part of the lines, because of course those wouldn't be there. So now they're not going through my table anymore, okay? So now I have floorboards, and if you want, you can go back and you can kind of make, because you know floorboards are never usually just one long board, there's like different lengths. So you can like put those in like varying places. Just kind of look at your floors. I have fake wood floors, and you can just see kind of the lines that I'm talking about, okay? So that starts to make it a little bit more realistic. And then this is my table. The last thing I'm going to just show you that I did was my table. So again, I put a line here to be my, not a very straight line. So this is the top of my table. So I did that first, and then I put the lines in to connect them. Or you can start the other way. Okay? And again, any horizontal line is going to the vanishing point. And then my vertical lines for the legs, the bottom parts of the legs are all going to go back to the vanishing point. So this little part of the leg, here and here. And then I put the lines in the back. So you see these lines are the top, and then I just put another horizontal line here. Vertical line, vertical line. So then that's my table. So window, chair, window, table, door, and I did a skylight as well. So for the skylight, you can see, do the line here to the vanishing point. Okay, and then because I'm going to make it like a window, you're going to have the window pane. You do another line right here, and then you shade that in. Okay, and then I did the same thing over here. I did an inside line here. So all those lines go to the vanishing point, and then I put these lines in here to connect them. So same thing as the table, but you're just doing it on the ceiling. And just like once you're done, you can start erasing all of those lines. Now you're going to see why I tell you to draw lightly, because, you know, the lighter you draw, the less problem you're going to have cleaning up your picture. Now, if you don't want to leave that back wall blank, like in the video, they put a window, or you could just put a fake painting. Maybe you have an abstract painting over your dinner table. So there, that's about it. If you wanted to add things onto the wall, like furniture, I started to kind of show that here. All things go back to the vanishing point. So if you wanted to put a desk, so if this was going to be my desk, these lines would go back to the vanishing point, and then I would start to put my desk in. Okay. So hopefully this is helpful and not more confusing. A couple things I would highly recommend if you have the option. If you have really hard pencils, like a yellow pencil, this is great to do with a yellow pencil, and then to go back in and add the shading with your drawing pencils. Or if you have an H, if you have a drawing pencil that's an H, it's really light and hard, that would be a good pencil to start this with. But once you're done, I want you to go back in and I want you to shade in all the different parts of your picture. So you can shade in the table. And remember, if this is the light source, it would be lighter here, okay? But you can add shading on the walls. So look at the student examples that I posted in the assignment, and you can kind of see how nice and finished the students were able to create their drawings. Okay. So you can start to go in and start shading that in to make it look very finished. So hopefully this is helpful. I know this is a confusing project if you've never done it before. So I look forward to hearing from you on our one-on-one calls on Friday to kind of help explain anything that you're a little bit confused about. Okay, guys? Again, stress-free, just try it out and let me know what your problems are. Talk to you soon.